How's it going, guys? West Cali King here, and I'm back with another I guess it'll be a kind of an opinion type of video. I don't know. This isn't exactly a sports discussion, but today I want to talk about the 2015 Gold Cup, and I know it's not over, but I kind of want to talk about what's happened so far. But before I get into it, this gameplay, it's mainly it starts off kind of slow, but it's mainly me just rushing around with like with a silenced SMG. And I do pretty good because this isn't the most kills I've ever gotten. The most kills I've gotten was like around 40. But I was using like tanks and helicopters that match. This one was mainly just pure gun kills and you're rushing. And I think some of the people were blind or something because they were just sniping, and I walk in front of them and they don't even see me, or they just don't react quick enough. But whatever. So this is pretty kind of a high scoring gameplay, especially for like the time, because I did join this game with a little bit of time left for the match to finish. So okay, let's get right into it. So I want to talk about the 2015 Gold Cup, and you know, I can't say I haven't enjoyed it so far. I've laughed so hard so far, especially that Mexico versus Panama match. I'm gonna talk about that later, but first I want to talk about the USA versus Jamaica match. And you know, I'm American, and then my parents are Mexican, but my main team is mainly Italy. I don't know why. I've always been an Italian soccer fan, mainly because in the 2006 World Cup, one of my uncles, you know, he bet money, and you know, he got Italy as his team. And, you know, everybody in the family was going for Italy so he could win money. So ever since then, I've always been an Italian soccer fan, Italy national team soccer fan. But my second favorite team is the United States soccer team, because I was born in the USA, and my third team is obviously Mexico, because you know, my parents. But the USA match, I gotta say, was pretty interesting. One of my main complaints with like the United States is that they never attack. They're always passive aggressive, kind of, to a certain extent. Like they always take their time, and it's like, well, when they start off they go hard, but then they always slow down, which is one of my main complaints, which is kind of why they lost this game. Because in the second half they did score right away, and then after that they were trying to attack, but you know, they were just missing shots. You know, if they would have made more, they could have easily tied that game up, but you know, they were missing shots, and you know, luck wasn't on their side this game. So I am pretty disappointed, because I did want to see you know, I did want to see a Mexico versus USA final, which would have been pretty cool. But whatever, Jamaica's in it, nothing else to say. I mainly want to talk about the Mexico versus Panama match. So I'm not a big Mexican national soccer team fan. And, you know, my intro, my videos, you do see me wearing a hat, and that is the Mexico national team. But like, that's like the baseball team, not really the soccer team. But you know, Mexico, you know. But I gotta say, I know a lot of people are kind of mad at what happened, but you know, I enjoyed it. It was pretty funny, especially all the penalties they were calling. And I know Panama deserved to win, and I towards the end of it, I kind of did want to see a Panama-Jamaica match. But what are you gonna do? Mexico won, and a lot of people are blaming Mexico for buying the match and all that stuff. And it's like, I don't think Mexico bought the match. Well, there's two theories that you could look into. There's two possibilities to this. One, you know, stuff happens, and then the referee just didn't see, because that first penalty was clearly not a red. The one where like some guy hit the Mexican player, you know, in the face. That wasn't red. That was more of a yellow. So that guy should have stayed in the match. But whatever, you know, from the referee's angle, you know, it does look like he really hit him in the head. So that's whatever. And then, so, you know, Panama did take the lead, and then towards the end of it, it was like minute 88. You know, there was a penalty against Panama, you know, in Mexico's favor, and everybody says this is a controversial call, you know, because everybody says, you know, he didn't grab the ball with his hand, you know, it shouldn't have been a penalty. And the guy's name was Roman Torres, you know, that guy that committed the penalty. But if you do take a look at the clip, you see that the guy falls, and then he kind of pushes himself back a little bit, and then kind of intentionally falls on the ball to prevent anybody from kicking the ball. So you know, he did intentionally sort of try to stop Mexico from actually shooting the ball. He didn't grab it with his hand, but you know, the intention was sort of there. But whatever, Mexico scores, you know. And I gotta say, the match was pretty interesting. It was so many times I was just laughing, especially when there's a Mexican player, I don't know what his name is, he got tapped in the stomach, and you know, he waited like 2 to 3 seconds to actually fall, and that was like the funniest thing I've ever seen. That's the first time I've seen something like that of an exaggeration, you know, live on TV. And you know, it's pretty funny. Um, and then it went into overtime, and you know, before they kicked the penalty kick, it was pretty funny too, because everybody was fighting, and you know, Panama was saying that they were gonna leave, but they didn't leave, of course, and Mexico took the kick. And another thing, the announcers, they were saying, no, if Mexico has integrity, they'll miss the penalty kick on purpose, which is kind of like, who would actually do that on purpose? I mean, if you have the chance to score, you know, you're gonna take the score, because at the end of the day, it is not Mexico's fault here. So, you know, it's not Mexico's fault here. You know, they took their chances, and you know, they scored. And then that final penalty kick, you know, that was kind of an intentional foul. So, you know, whatever, what you're gonna do, Mexico took that shot, and Panama did have a chance to actually steal the game, but you know, their frustration took over, and you know, they still attacked, but you know, whatever, the odds were kind of against them the whole game, so they did very good. So I kind of wanted to talk about the two outlooks on this. So the first outlook that I said, that's that Mexico, the first outlook I mentioned is that, you know, everything was just on Mexico's side, and the referee wasn't, you know, he couldn't, from the angles that he had, you know, you know, people make mistakes. That's one of the possibilities. Another possibility I want to talk about, which I don't think is the actual possibility of why Panama lost, but you know, it's worth mentioning. So, as you all know, FIFA or CONCACAF or whatever it's called, you know, they gotta make money at the end of the day. And you know, honestly, what's gonna bring in more money? A USA versus Mexico final Gold Cup match, or a Jamaica versus Panama final gold match? And you know, USA lost, alright? So you know, it's Jamaica, right? And who's gonna wanna watch Jamaica Panama, as I said? So you know, they kinda had to have Mexico in that to bring in money, fill in the seats, which I'm not saying is exactly what they did, but if you look at it from a business standpoint, it makes perfect sense that they would want USA and Mexico. Unfortunately, Mexico did win. I mean, USA did lose, so they kind of had to have Mexico in the you know, in the final match, because not a lot of people are not gonna tune in or watch this match if Mexico and or USA are not in this. You know, more money would have been USA Mexico, but they got Mexico in there, so that's more money to them, okay? And what are you gonna do at the end of the day? You know, you don't mess with a man's money and a man's job, you know. And at the end of the day, it's just kind of a Gold Cup. It's not a big, it's a big deal, but not as big deal as, say, the World Cup. So that's my thoughts on the 2015 Gold Cup. And until next time, I am out.